just how it beats when you put your hands on me. Time goes fast, but yet so slow. I leave all thoughts, yeah, I let them go. 'Cause I'm here with you, and all I need is you. It's so easy to be us. We lock ourselves up from the world we're lost. It's so easy to be us. We lock ourselves up from the world we're lost. Don't know what you really feel, but I really like this dream.
5.35 miles, 9 minutes, 4 seconds per mile, 141 beats per minute today, going for a nice and easy run, only looking at my watch when I started the activity and when I ended it. And in between, I had the wrist covered by pulling down my sleeve over the watch so I couldn't look at it all. And we had such beautiful weather today. It was such a nice break from the crazy winds we've been having, at a nice sunrise, not a cloud in the sky. It was just really enjoyable to be out there. And then afterwards, I was able to see from the run that I stayed within my Maffetone heart rate range the entire time, which has been kind of like not my ultimate goal with the Maffetone training, but definitely one of my bigger goals with Maffetone training. Now, a comment or a critique that I got a lot of times when I started training by Maffetone and going kind of down this path was that people were like, if you just need to make sure your easy runs are easy, just go run your easy runs easy. It seems like self-evident, right? But I mean, one of the big things that I really enjoyed about training with heart rate and Maffetone in particular is that I was feeling like my conception of easy was off. I think my ego was getting in the way of it quite a bit. Secret racing along the lakefront path also gets in the way with it quite a bit. And like wanting to see like those big numbers on Strava, in other words, ego, was a big part of it too. And so I felt like constantly like I was running my easy days too hard, and I just felt like I didn't have any idea of what an easy run even was anymore. And so that's where I was looking to low heart rate training to kind of like give me something quantifiable as to what like easy should be, tailored somewhat to my body. And so that's how I kind of got started along this Maffetone journey. And at first, this was over a year ago at this point now, at first I was basically walk jogging to stay within like that easy heart rate range. Walk jogging, maybe doing a little bit of running at the beginning, but then like towards the end of a run, you know, things would kind of like just go haywire and I would end up doing a lot of walking. It was very frustrating, a very slow and maddening process, I think is probably the best way that I could put it. And then I think it was probably somewhere, I mean, maybe it was more than 3 or 4 months ago, so maybe before the summer, but what I thought was easy, like what I felt was easy, like just going on a new regular day or recovery run day or whatever, just going out there and running, would fall within my low heart rate range or under my Maffetone number. And for me, a guy that loves kind of like having numbers and metrics to kind of play with or to look at, that feels really good. So I like having that. But looking forward, I think my main goal from here on out is to get to the point where, I guess, to address like the other subset of Maffetone like critique. There's another group of people that are out there and they're like, there's no way Maffetone could ever make any sense, because if I take 180 minus my age and run at that heart rate every day, that'd be like me going out and running threshold every single day. And to those people, I say, like, that's where I'm trying to get. And so a lot of people, I think, are critiquing, and usually it's very talented runners or very gifted runners, or gifted runners who have worked very hard that can, you know, just bang out like 12 miles at 140 beats per minute, and it's at like 650 pace. I mean, if I could do that, I would not need to run Maffetone anymore. That would be like my ultimate, like, I mean, that'd be beyond a dream goal. I don't think I can ever really get to that. I don't think my body will ever be able to do that. Just trying to be realistic about it. but there are some people that are already there. And so for those people to then go and say like, well, I need to do something different and like reconfigure all my training, you don't need to, because you've already at the like far end, you're already at the end game. So you don't have to worry about like the means to get there. You're already there. And I'm just trying to get even like closer to there. So what I would love to see going forward is for me to get to the point where my easy runs would be at a heart rate that corresponds to much lower than my Maffetone number. And I'm not there yet. A lot of times when I hear people talk about their ability to do that, it's always kind of like, yeah, and after like 2 or 3 years of running like this, I was able to do that. So I think that for the people that it works for, it takes longer to get to that point where like your Maffetone or like a math test would be like a speed workout. It's not like that for me. For me, when I do a MAF test or the maximum aerobic function test, I definitely have to kind of like pull myself back, and I'm constantly like trying to like stay under the red line. So it's very different. So I think there's a lot more room for progress for me. But even if I've already kind of like maxed out on the progress that I get from Maffetone, I feel like I'm at a pretty good spot. I can continue training this way, or training like along an 80-20 type of breakdown where 80% of my running is at that low heart rate number and 20% is at very high intensity. I can train that way, and maybe I'll progress more along the Maffetone path, or maybe I won't. But in either event, I'm also kind of like hedging my bet, because at worst, I'm still following an 80-20 principle type of training approach. I don't know if you can really call it Maffetone still if I'm doing 80-20. If not, then I'm doing like a modified version of it, whatever you want to call it. I'm pretty happy with it where I'm at now. The one thing that I do want to start introducing more of as part of like that 20% of that intensity is longer thresholds. I think that my body, in terms of being a better longer distance runner, half marathons and marathons, I think that my body responds really well to that. I think that my mental aspect of running also like really needs those longer threshold runs. So I think I'm going to start introducing some more of those, still staying within 80-20, but gradually working up to longer like single reps of like threshold level work or slightly below threshold. So that's where I'm going. That's what I'm thinking. I don't have another time trial planned. I don't have any other races or anything like that planned. You know, usually that's kind of how I am going into the winter, where I'm just happy to be running miles. I'm not like taking a break, but just happy to be running miles and getting in what I can and kind of running wherever running takes me. So I think that's kind of like the best that I can do in terms of planning for the future for running anyway in 2020. So like that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm thinking. So I just want to give you guys a quick update on that. If you have any questions on that, feel free to put them in the comments down below. I'll love to answer any questions that you have there. Or better yet, feel free to stop by the live stream. Every day I do a live stream 3 p.m. here on YouTube. You can always ask me questions there too. Hopefully I'll see you there. That's all I have for today, everybody. Thanks so much for making it all the way to the end of the video. Hopefully you guys are staying safe out there on your runs, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yo, what's going on?